Greetings to my Pembroke family and our extensive friends network. I am Andre Taylor Domville. I was fortunate enough to have spent my formative years in Pembroke as my parents moved to 25 Pontrypant Avenue in late 1961 with my brother Courtney, 2 years my senior, and me. In 1963, my younger brother Audley Jr. was born, and 3 brothers, 2 years apart, would go on to create friendships and memories that would last a lifetime. My initial school experience started at St. Joseph Infant and St. Aloysius Boys Schools, as both my parents worked in downtown Kingston, at the Government Savings Bank, which eventually became Workers' Bank, and the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation, KSAC. In September 1970, 3 years after its establishment, I was transferred to Pembroke Primary School for the 4th and 5th grades, where I was taught by legendary teachers, Mrs. Briscoe and Mrs. Scott, respectively. Those treasured educators prepared me for a successful effort with the Common Entrance examination, earning me a free play scholarship to attend Excelsior High School. Some of the highlights of my years in the community include suiting up for Leeds United Football Club in the Corner League, Bob West, and Alan Cole tournaments, topped off by capping for the Pembroke minor league team. I migrated to New York at age 16 after my high school graduation in July 1977. Over the years, Pembroke has remained central in my focus through return visits and lifelong friendships. It is my distinct honor to lead off this discussion that will introduce our newly established advocacy organization, Pembroke Alumni Lifting Lives, P-Hall. I have heard it said that your mind shines brightest when you enlighten others, your heart when you encourage others, your soul when you elevate others, and your life when you empower others. 6 members of the Pembroke family took those expressions to heart and initiated dialogue aimed at realizing our shared desire of revitalizing the beloved community. The spark that fueled our efforts was generated by the now famed Pembroke Memories podcast. With people listening in on the podcast, featuring their brothers and sisters of old, more and more persons have been motivated to share their own stories. A common theme with most who have appeared in the broadcast has been the desire to see our beloved Pembroke returned to its position of prominence. The original podcast hosts, Glaister Lance Prince and Philip Hennyfowl Henny, were joined by Jackie Watkins Johnson, Chris Baptiste, Rudolph Tompa Kamika, and myself, and together we developed a tactical plan to attain the aforementioned goal of community revitalization. Today, we are happy to introduce the freshly minted not-for-profit organization, Pembroke Alumni Lifting Lives, P-Hall. It is important to note that this organization belongs to the members of the Pembroke family and will require the efforts of all of us to ensure that it accomplishes the stated mission. Over the next few minutes, the team and I will provide an outline of the organization and its goals. I now invite Pembroke Memories podcast creator, Glaister Prince, to introduce himself. Step forward, my brother.
Thanks, Andre. As Andre said, I'm Glaister Prince, also known as Lance or Jelly. I moved to Pembroke in 1964 with my brother and 2 sisters and our parents, Thomas and Lily Prince. We lived at 66 Colbeck Avenue until I migrated to Foreign in 2000. I attended Miss McLaren Basic School on Clydesdale Avenue and started Pembroke Primary in 1969. During the 1980s, I operated a 250,000 minibus on the 40 bus route. In July 2022, I started Pembroke Memories podcast with my childhood friend, Philip Enne. Phil, introduce yourself and talk about the origins of Pembroke Memory.
Greetings, Pembroke family. I am Philip Enne, aka NFO or Philip. I am a former resident of Colbeck Avenue, Pembroke. I lived there for 27 years with my mom, dad, and siblings. I attended Pembroke Primary as well as Kingston College. The Pembroke Memories podcast came about as a result of a conversation I had with Jelly regarding the Community Corner League. It brought back so much fun memories that we thought it would be a great way to honor our beloved community. It proved to be a great idea, as so many others wanted to get in on the conversation, just as how the Corner League proved to be a very polarizing event for the community back then. I now turn it over to Tony for the introduction and PR organization, which is an offspring of the PR memories.
Thanks, Phil. Greetings, everyone. I am Rudy Kamika, also known to many as Tony or Tumpa. In 1969, I moved to 58 Aqualita Vale Avenue in Pembroke with 5 of my 6 siblings and my mother. My father and my eldest brother had already migrated to the United States. Like Andre, I attended St. Aloysius Primary and then moved on to high school at St. George's College. During my years in Pembroke, I played football for Asphalt in the Junior Corner League and also played for 2 other Pembroke-based teams, Leeds United and Kerbwall. In 1978, I migrated to the Big Apple, New York City, and now live in Broward County, South Florida. But that's enough on me. Let's get to why we are here. Pembroke Lifting Lives. Pembroke Lifting Lives was created to be one vehicle to give back to the community we all love, Pembroke. We wanted to do this right, and as a result, we have taken the necessary steps to establish and register the organization. Pembroke Lifting Lives is registered in the state of Florida as a not-for-profit organization pursuant to the Florida statutes. We have obtained an employer identification number, which donors and contributors may use to support their contribution deduction when filing their U.S.-based tax returns. We have also opened a bank account in the name of the organization. Before I turn this over to the next speakers, let me say a big thank you to Lance and Phil for starting Pembroke Memories. Because without Pembroke Memories, there would be no Pembroke Alumni Lifting Lives. I also wish to recognize my PR sister, Jackie, for coining the phrase Lifting Lives and creating the name for the organization. Thank you, Jackie. I am confident we will be lifting lives, but we will need our Pembroke alumni to contribute and get involved so that we can lift many lives. So let's get on the ball, Pembroke. I will now turn it over to Jackie and Chris to discuss the organization's purpose. Jackie.
Thank you, Tony. I am Jackie Watkins Johnson, and I proudly represent for the current residents of Pembroke Hall. The Watkins family, consisting of my parents, 2 sisters, a brother, and myself, moved to Pembroke Hall in 1964. My mom and I stayed at Colbeck Avenue for a few months, then the entire family moved to 85 Pembroke Hall Drive until 1968. We then relocated to 33 Annandale Avenue, where I lived for most of my life. Like many of you, I owe the community of Pembroke Hall for my solid educational foundation. Having attended Mrs. Champagne's basic school on Potosi Avenue and then the Pembroke Hall Primary. From there, I moved on to the St. Hugh's High School for Girls. I was a member of the Pembroke Hall netball team, which paved the way for me participating in both high school and business house netball competitions over the years. After listening to some of the early Pembroke Hall Memories podcasts, I was invited to do one myself. Subsequently, I was asked to join this group as a current resident. This I did without any hesitation, as I saw it as the perfect platform to assist in bringing back Pembroke to its former glory. Indeed, I consider this an honor and privilege to be the only rose among these 5 thorns, working as a team to make a difference in the lives of P Hall residents. I have lived through several decades in Pembroke, and I have personally witnessed the changes over the years. I am confident that with you, former residents of Pembroke, joining together with the current residents, we can unite to make a difference. As it is often said, there is strength in numbers. It has been my pleasure to work with my fellow team members as we plan, organize, and implement ways to carry out our mandate of lifting lives in our beloved community of P Hall. Purpose is defined as the reason for which something is done or created. Our purpose here at P Hall is primarily to provide financial and other support to current residents and by extension the community as a whole. We will be providing educational and other supplies to the schools as well as scholarships to needy students living in the community. We also plan to establish and enhance some of the existing infrastructures. Andre will provide further details on these. I will now hand over to Chris, who will introduce himself and speak more on P Hall's purposes. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Jackie. My name is Chris Baptist. Our family moved to Pembroke in 1968, settling on Chico Close, where I spent my formative years before moving to Potosi Avenue. I have 2 younger brothers and 2 younger sisters. I was a member of the Pembroke Methodist Scout Troop under Scoutmasters Bailey and Richards. I attended St. Francis Roman Catholic Church in Pembroke Hall. I attended Dunrobin Primary and Pembroke Junior Secondary School, the latter now Pembroke High School, Excelsior Community College, and Cass. While in Jamaica, I worked for National Vehicle Corporation, NAVCO, Gray Mill Engineering, and JPS. My first organized football team was Sesame United Ballers of the Junior Corner League. That was coached by Norman Clark, aka Squid, and later Potosi Rovers, coached by Frank Bennett, aka Booger Ben, and later Michael Butner, aka Buckhead. I joined Pembroke Major League team under Dutch coach Peter Hoop. I was a member of the Jamaica Public Service Company football team that won the Business House football tournament in 1983. I left Pembroke that year and a few years later migrated to the U.S. My wife, Angela Baptiste, Nee Smart, and I have 2 children, Dion and Renee. I am a graduate of Georgia State University School of Arts and Sciences and Michigan State University School of Veterinary Science. I enjoy traveling, reading, playing golf, and football. Like my fellow board members, I'm passionate about the mission of the organization. I'm motivated to use my acumen for the advancement of Pembroke as the community that has helped to shape the person that I am today. The organization seeks to promote a better understanding and appreciation for the community by those who live, work, and visit there, to promote mentorship for the youths of the community, to provide counseling services to the families within the community,
to provide a pathway to fellowship with past and present residents of the community and with others who have formed a common bond with the community through their past participation in community sporting activities or those who might have attended school or church there. To find common grounds where we can work with community organizations such as the Civic Association, the schools, the churches, businesses in and around the community, to engage in other efforts that will be beneficial to the people and community of Pembroke Hall. If you are passionate about Pembroke Hall, we encourage you to get involved with the organization. There are 3 membership levels: founding members, general members, and resident members. The annual membership fee is $250 for founding members, $100 general members, and no cost to resident members. I now turn you over to Tony, who will talk about the transparency of the organization.
Thanks, Chris. We will have an open book policy. Therefore, all books and records will be available for examination at any time by any paying member or donor. All that will be required is timely notice. Disbursement of funds. We have established proper controls to ensure funds are expended for the intended purposes only. Such procedures include, but are not limited to, unanimous board approval for all expenditures, dual signature for cash requests, dual signature on checks. Also, 100% of the funds collected will be used for the stated purposes. Therefore, all administrative time and costs will be voluntary. Our source of funds will be from membership dues, donations, corporate contributions and or sponsorships, social events, raffles, etc. I will now turn it over to Andre to discuss our planned giving for 2023 and upcoming events.
Thank you very much, Tony. For 2023, the board has identified the following initiatives for which P Hall will provide financial assistance. First is the scholarship program. This includes 4 scholarships: 1 for a student at the Pembroke Hall Methodist Basic School, 1 for a student at the Pembroke Hall Primary School, and finally, 2 scholarships have been designated for 2 students at the Pembroke Hall High School. Funding for the scholarships will be paid directly to the schools. The second initiative will be to provide school and other supplies to the Pembroke Hall Methodist Basic School. The third initiative is the repair or replacement of the school bell or the PA system at the Pembroke Hall Primary School. The fourth initiative calls for the contribution of solar-powered floodlights for the high school football field. Our fifth initiative will see us hosting a soccer tournament for under 12 residents of Pembroke Hall. The event is being planned for the Heroes Day weekend in October and will feature 4 teams representing the original teams that competed in Pembroke Hall's and Jamaica's first Corner League competition. Each team will include 1 female player. Our sixth and final initiative has not yet been identified. However, it will be in the form of a gift to the community for Christmas. Now, I would be remiss if I failed to highlight the upcoming Pembroke Hall reunion party. This well-anticipated event will be hosted by past Pembroke Hall residents Marva Rodney and Leslie Preggs Thompson and will be staged at St. Benedict Episcopal Hall, 7801 Northwest 5th Street in Plantation, Florida, on Saturday, July 15, 2023 at 8 p.m. A meet and greet event is being discussed for Friday, July 14, 2023. Details to follow. We are inviting Pembroke alumni and friends to come out, meet the PR board members, meet new friends, catch up with old friends, have fun and dance the night away, as we will be entertained by Pembroke's own DJ Ringe from Rhythm Force and DJ Curry from Soul Artist, with a guest appearance by DJ Squeeze from Fet Days Radio and Rhythm Force and Mellow Canary. So make it a date, Pembroke family. Please don't be late. See you there.